Making your first sweater can be really confusing and hard, but what isn't? In this video, I want to go over my experience and journey with making my first sweater, from choosing the yarn and the material to how much did I frog and what the final piece actually ended up being, and just what I felt in the entire process. I went into the yarn store with really no idea what I wanted to make, but then I stumbled upon a pattern that I thought looked really pretty. It was the TCD DIY's one of her oversized off-the-shoulder V-neck sweaters. I thought it looked really cute because of the cut and the oversized. I found a yarn that was actually perfect because it was on sale, but it was also a yarn that it wasn't scratchy compared to the wool yarns that I've used in the past, so that was really a good deal. So it was 25 bucks a skein, which is usually $34 at retail price, so the full sweater actually turned up to be about $150 all in. The yarn that I ended up choosing was this Le Bien Ami in the Winterfell color. It's a 100% superwash merino wool, which makes it really warm, and I really like the color, which is like a dark blue. The making of the sweater starts off with the ribbing for this band and the front panel. Honestly, this probably took about 7, 8, 9 hours because of how small my hook and yarn was compared to the artist's. I didn't really take into account how much time this would add into the ribbing and the sweater overall, so although it is really tedious, I do like how the final ribbing turns out. To me, it looks almost knit, and because it's a back loop only of a mix of half double crochet and slip stitches, it does turn out to be quite tedious, but I think the end result looks really nice. As for the front panel, I did end up frogging the front half of the panel once I got to the midway point because of how uneven it was, but when I got to the second time around, it was still being uneven, and me being the smartest person that I know, obviously didn't recheck the pattern to make sure I was doing it correctly, so I really just repeated my mistakes. When I did it the second time and it was still uneven, I just kind of figured that it would be hidden with the bottom band because it's attached all around, so I was just hoping for the best, and also I was just way too tired to frog and have to redo the sweater again. When I got to the back panel, that actually ended up being a little short because I can't count how many stitches I did in the front panel, and so it is probably maybe 10 to anywhere between 10 to 20 chains shorter than what the front panel is. Luckily, even though the back panel wasn't as long as the front side, I was able to stretch it out when I was blocking it, so it wasn't uneven in the front and back side. As for the sleeves, a smart person would have written down the amount of chains that they did on the left side so they would remember to do it on the right side. But when I started the right arm, I counted the left sleeve and I counted the number of stitches on one side of the sweater and again on the other side, just because I knew the sleeve was a little uneven as well. I never questioned why I had about 60 stitches on one side of the sweater and then maybe somewhere between 80 to 90 on the other side. In retrospect, I really should have double checked the pattern because the sleeve originally is supposed to increase or and then decrease back down so it's even, but I really just took the average and slap that onto the right side, and I don't think it looks bad, honestly. I think it is bunching a little more in areas that I would like to maybe in the future kind of take into account, but overall I was luckily able to block out the length of the sleeve so it's not super uneven and it's roughly landing at the same side on my wrist, which is really nice. Although it was hard and I had to take a 2 to 3 month break because I didn't have enough yarn and I was tired of frogging and the ribbing and the unevenness, I'm really glad that I stuck with it. After putting it through the dryer so it could shrink a little, it actually fits me pretty well and it's not sliding down my shoulders like it originally was. Although it is not my dream fit, I really like how it turned out even if it's bunching a little bit. It is a really good attempt at my first sweater and I have so many takeaways in terms of how to adjust the sizing, knowing in the future that just because something's a little small when you put it on, it will stretch a little once you block it. So definitely in the future, I wasn't sure if I wanted to block the sweater when I was looking at it, but then after blocking, there's no doubt I will certainly be blocking all my future sweaters. So if you have a sweater that you want to make, I really hope that you do it. It might look a little intimidating at first, but once you get into the groove of it and you are double and triple checking your pattern, so if you're uneven, you know why. I think it's a really great experience. Even if it doesn't turn out to be the exact dream make, it is a super good experience. You learn so much and you can only get better. Your first piece is probably not going to be perfect. Most people's aren't. Mine obviously wasn't. But if you have a sweater that you really want to make, I think you should go for it, because in the end, if you really don't like it, you can frog it and just do it over again with everything that you've already learned. But that's all I had for this video, so bye!